We're watching 2027 cornerback Aaryn Washington right now, 6', 160 from Mater Dei in California. You guys let me know what you think about him. Any other players you want to talk about, feel free to reach out. I get really excited about cornerbacks when they're 6'2", 6'3", when they have that elite length, the arm length, just because they don't really have to have a great understanding of positioning. You know, there's such a bigger margin of error for the kids that are 6'2", 6'3", just because they have that arm length to kind of make up for it. They don't have to be in as good of a spot. Aaryn Washington's not a kid that's been blessed by God with, you know, this 32, 33-inch arms that some of these corners are. But this kid has such a good understanding of zone coverage already as a sophomore. You know, the hips are so fluid. We're going to watch this whole tape, and we're never really going to look at this kid and be like, oh my God, he's so athletic, just because he's always in the right spot. All the movements are so easy that he never finds himself in a position where he has to get on his horse and just, you know, make up room. You know, a lot of people talk about make-up speed for cornerbacks. He doesn't really need that because he's always in the right spot. Now, he is really athletic. Don't get that wrong. I really like the ball skills as well. You know, we saw that little stab before. This is a zone coverage one. Does a really good job then. I think this was cover 3. I'm not going to replay it. Just jumps in front of the vert. Bad throw from the cornerback. But Aaryn Washington, we're going to watch this whole highlight tape, and we're just going to be like, oh my gosh, this kid is always in the right spot. And that's really good. Really like the zone technique, really like the zone instincts. You know, the coaches did a really good job at Mater Dei drilling that into his head. He also is so technically refined as a corner. You know, when he's in these tough spots, you know, this is such a tough position for a cornerback to be in. You know, this slot fade here. A lot of high school corners, you know, they try to get their eyes around, try to make a play on the ball. At this point, you just can't do that. You know, there's just not enough space. You're never going to touch this ball if you try to get your eyes around. It's going to be a touchdown every time. Does a really good job knowing to play the body that time. You know, this kid's just so smart for a sophomore in high school. It's really, really amazing. Now, when we start talking about the athleticism that he has, he's definitely twitchy, you know, really explosive. When we do see him crash downhill when he's in zone, you know, look how easy this is. Doesn't have to really get on his horse here because he's already on all over this, 3-yard in route. But when we do see him have to make up those yards, you know, he can do it so easily. The hips are really fluid. That's really what it is athletically with Aaryn Washington. So the hips plus the explosiveness. And then why is this kid one of the top-rated corners in the country? This understanding his zone coverage. You know, this kid's just in the right spot everywhere. He's got really good ball skills. You know, ball skills is one thing. It's one thing to kind of be able to get your hand on the ball. It's another thing to always be in the spot to make a play on the ball. And that's really the case, I think, with Aaryn Washington. Now, if you want to talk about the athleticism, we haven't really seen the athleticism throughout this tape. You know, this is a really tough spot to be in to guard this slot fade as a corner in man coverage. It looks like they're in. Yeah, it looks like man. Look how he eats this up. He's 3 yards. He pretty much runs this kid's route for him right here. You know, he's the one running the slot fade here. This kid's really good. You know, real understanding of the cornerback position already as a sophomore in high school. So, you know, what's stopping Aaryn Washington from being a great cornerback at the next level? We always want to ask ourselves, you know, what are these kids, what can they get better at? You know, at 160, he's certainly undersized, and I'm not too worried about it because this kid just competes in the run game. We're going to see him tackle a lot. You know, it won't be perfect technique all the time, but for these smaller cornerbacks, you don't really need that perfect technique just because they're just going to be undermatched. They really just got to do whatever they can do, you know, to bring these kids down to the ground. And I just hear a lot of people when they're scouting talk about ankle biting being a bad thing. Man, I'm not expecting this kid to step up and lay out some of these bigger running backs. You know, I really just need to see the want, you know, the need or the intensity, the aggressiveness to compete in the run game. That's what you get with Aaryn Washington. You're just going to keep watching this tape, and he's not afraid to stick his nose in the muck, you know, in the mud, and he just certainly competes in the run game for sure. But you know, at 6', 160, he's just going to keep adding weight to his frame, and by the time he's on a college campus, you know, I don't think we're going to be talking about, you know, the weight being such a big issue as it is. It's not that big of an issue, but let's just get our head out of the way, man. You're such a good football player, but you can't play if you're concussed on the sideline. You just want to see that head just get to the side a bit more. But, you know, overall, like I said, it's all about intensity. It's all about the willingness, and Aaryn Washington has it. You know, just a really, really, really good understanding of the cornerback position already as a sophomore in high school, and he's just going to keep getting better. That was Aaryn Washington. You guys let me know what you think about him. Let me know if there's any other players you want me to take a look at. Thanks for watching.